Kia ora koutou and welcome to Frogs on Friday. I'm Shannon Barlow, Managing Director of Frog Recruitment. And as usual in Frogs on Friday, we go through some of the job market trends and talk about how they affect both job seekers and businesses. We'll go through our usual segments on Mahi Media, take a look at some of the hot jobs we have at the moment, as well as our poll. And today I'm joined by Elzarie Geyer, who will give us some great tips for remote onboarding, which is becoming more and more common these days. So first up, let's see what's been happening in the media. Okay, so last week I discussed the rise in inflation to 6.9% and speculated that it puts employees in a good position to ask for wage or salary increases to offset those rising living costs. The newsroom article that we're featuring today explores changes in behaviours from both businesses and job seekers due to that inflation. Now, at Frog Recruitment, we are still seeing our clients push for growth, which is a really good sign, with a strong flow of permanent vacancies still coming through. But I suspect that as the cost of doing business increases and that drop in business confidence, we're likely to see perhaps a more conservative approach where businesses may opt to use temp or contract resources rather than committing to permanent headcount. Now, we're definitely already seeing the effects of that raised inflation on job seeker behaviour, with many candidates not considering roles that they usually would if they require them to drive to work. So that increased petrol costs definitely having an effect. High petrol costs have also come into play for employees. So we're noticing more and more people wanting to at least increase their work from home days. And it's also becoming more common for job seekers to only target remote work options. So a big shift in the way that people are approaching their job search and what they will consider. Let's go through some of the jobs that we have at the moment. Let's go to the job section. Okay, so we start off with one of our contact centre roles. So this one is a temporary position. I know that we've had a lot of action in this space, so both for permanent roles and for temporary. This one is based in Albany and paying $25 per hour. It's working with a leading healthcare provider, and the initial period they're looking for is around 2 months, but there is that potential to extend that longer. The hours of this, so this is working within their after hours team. So for someone who's looking at perhaps outside of the ordinary 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, this one, the shifts are from noon till 9 p.m. And we'll be looking at things, tasks including scheduling services, working with support workers, being that go-between between the healthcare providers and the patients. And it's a mix of inbound and outbound calls. If you're interested in this, give Kirsty Hennigan a call or reach out to her. Okay, what's the next one here? So the next two roles are based from our Wellington team. So I've very meanly put Elzarie on the spot a little bit. So I thought that she could tell us a little bit more about the policy roles on offer in Wellington.
Hi, yes, thanks, Shannon. So in Wellington, we're always looking for good policy people, but this week my colleague Caroline is looking for a senior policy advisor or analyst, paying competitive salaries. And providing high-quality policy advice and analysis, leading complex policy projects and taking a leading role within that policy space. And they need to be able to engage well with external stakeholders. They're working on interesting projects and they need to be able to work on drive the policy projects forwards, do briefings to the ministers, cabinet papers, and etc., whatever is needed in that senior policy space. So if you're interested or keen, reach out to Caroline or email her or give her a quick call for a chat about this one. And then Chitra is currently looking for a policy advisor, entry-level position for someone with 1 or 2 years experience in a government agency. So looking for someone with that central government agency experience, or has been in a legal role or ministerial role. So if you're keen to have a chat about this one in the ministerial servicing space, give Chitra a call or reach out to her via email.
Excellent. Sounds like a good opportunity there to step up and make the most of the experience. Of course, as Elzarie was saying, we're always looking for good policy people, particularly in our Wellington branch, with opportunities mainly centred, obviously, around Parliament, but also across the country. Okay, so let's go on, bring it back to Elzarie, who's going to give us some great tips for how to have an effective onboarding for remote workers. So as I was saying, this is increasingly becoming an option. So something to look at there. Elzarie, what great tips do you have for us?
Yeah, Shannon, like you said, hybrid and remote work's becoming the new norm, and it's getting increasingly harder for, I think, for managers to build engaged teams, because everyone's working from home or not in the office, so it's getting harder to have a positive experience when onboarding staff. So I reached out to a few of my candidates that we've placed and that's been onboarding remotely over the past year, and they had some useful insight and tips that they shared with me. So first of all, they said kindness, caring, and patience is really important, because I think our world's been upside down for the last 2 years, and everyone can do with a bit more kindness. So they said if people are just kind and caring and patient with the onboarding, especially if you're doing it remotely, that will be great. Also have a virtual meeting with the team. Introduce your new employee to the team, introduce them to everyone before they start so that they know who their team members will be. Ideally, they said it's really good to have a quick 5-minute catch up with each team member and just get a chance for them to say, welcome to our team, and this is what my responsibilities, or this is my role in the team, so that you know who you'll be dealing with. A buddy system, assign a buddy to your new employee, just that person who's always there for them to reach out to and ask the questions when the manager's not around, and just to make them feel comfortable and settle in and make sure they've got everything they need. They said that a handover document's crucial. So when they move into a new role, make sure that there's a detailed handover document ready for them that they can refer to when they start in their first few weeks. IT support came up, and they said that's really a lifeline for every new employee. So make sure that you just assign a single contact in the IT department who can assist them and say, look, if you've got a problem with your IT equipment, reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction, so that they know where to go. Checking that they've got a home office set up. If they need any assistance or equipment, make sure you help them with that. Another thing that was really important is they said diary invites or calendar invites to meetings. In the first few weeks, make sure that you invite them to all the meetings that they are supposed to be in. So there's nothing worse than being called in or dialed into a meeting as an afterthought. So it's really nice to make sure they've got all the invites ready in their diary, so that they know what to do and what to expect. And they all said it was really great that if on the first day there's a little gift or a gift bag or a welcome card delivered to their house, just to say welcome to the team, and here's something to say that we're thinking of you on your first day. And lastly, they also said that it's valuable for people to still have social engagement when they start in a new position. So they mentioned things like virtual drinks on a Friday after work, just dialing the whole team in and having a cup of tea or a glass of wine and just so engage on the social level, or just doing a daily quiz was great for them. So yeah, that was the insight from our candidates. Hope it's valuable for someone.
Oh, absolutely. And I know we're definitely all feeling our way through this, and I'm sure there have been some hits and misses in terms of onboarding experiences remotely. So would love to hear about those. Hopefully there's more hits than misses there, but feel free to put your comments through and tell us about your experience if you've been through a remote onboarding process. All right, so it must be time to have a look at the results from our poll from last week. Okay, so we asked, is it a bad idea to resign from a job after a short period of time? So I guess that's that situation where you come into a new opportunity. I think it's all going to work out well, and then maybe it just doesn't quite live up to that. What do you do then? So we had 35% said, no, you need to love your job. If it's not working out, then it's time to move on and go on to greener pastures. But the big result there, so 56% said, well, it really depends on the job or the situation. So again, if we'd love to hear more about the insight into that, so feel free to put in the comments about your experience or when maybe you had to weigh up that decision to stay or go. Okay, let's move to this week's poll. So carrying on with the theme there of looking at inflation increases, have rising living costs, including petrol, influenced the job locations you target? So looking at, yes, I'm only looking at close to home. Yes, I want to increase my work from home options, or no, it hasn't really affected things. It's the job that matters most. So interesting to see the results come out there. Okay, I think that is it for today. We'll, of course, be back next Friday at the same time, 12:30. Love to see you there. Ka kite.